Good afternoon and welcome back to Mira Mesa High School in sunny San Diego for the final match of the Western Ultimate League's Winter Cup. I'm Jeremy Ziskin, alongside me Manisha Slap Daryani. And Manisha, big stakes tonight in the final game between these two teams. What do we have in store?
Absolutely. I'm so excited to be behind the mic with you today, Jeremy. This is two 1-0 teams who were leading the standing coming into this morning. We can very well determine the winner of this game. You cannot script a better tournament. I'm so excited to see which one of these teams plays the way they played yesterday.
Yeah, and both teams not only at the top of the standings because of their wins, but also because of the unique format. You get points for fan engagement, and both teams have had plenty of engagement there, plenty of statistical leaders to fill up that scoreboard. We do want to remind you that your fan engagement is important. Go to @WU League on Instagram and Twitter. Whichever team gets the most likes on their winter holiday card posts will pick up 8 points for their team. You got to do that before the end or before the start, I believe, of the fourth quarter. So if you haven't done that already, do it now. We take a look at the standings here. Wild with a big victory earlier today, 36 points now leading. Astra in second with 25 points. And the Super Bloom right behind with 22.
And let's be clear, Astra, if they were to win, gets them 15 points off the bat. And then again, if it's Super Bloom, you notice a little bit below in the standing. That's where fantasy becomes important. That's where stats become important. This format, so unique, so much fun. We hope the folks at home have been having a good time engaging and watching. Just these athletes have ball out on the field. You can already see today's stat leaders. Incredible games earlier this morning, both with the Utah-Seattle game as well as my game. As you all know, hopefully, I'm also the head coach of the San Francisco Falcons, and I got to tell you, my heart has just come down. Heart rate has just come down from that win at the last second, and I am excited because I think we're going to have another great game.
And here we see yesterday's stats leaders. 4 goals for Steph Lim for Seattle, who we saw filling up the scoreboard again today, and Dina Elimelech, who we're about to see star for the Los Angeles Astra, coming back to the place where she starred as a college athlete.
It's true, and that's the beautiful thing about bringing this game here down to San Diego. So many athletes with ties. Let me tell you, I'm also a UCSD alum as well, so this was also coming home for me. I recognize it's 2 decades ago, but come on, give me a little credit. But yes, and it's been beautiful weather. You just can't ask for a better format, better volunteers, incredible staff. Shout out all to Ulti World and Ulti Photos, of course, for all the work you all have been doing.
So we can see the observers now with the opening flip, and it looks like the Astra will receive. So initial high fives, a lot on the line tonight. The hometown fans are getting excited. We're going to see a beautiful sunset later today, although it might be a little early for that. But yesterday we were treated to an incredibly beautiful sunset. We were, of course, just here, by the way, in October for Club Nationals.
It is true.
Great location.
Yeah, absolutely. Great location. And just to be clear, the reason that Jeremy's telling you about that is that all of our games are available for replay. So if you want to check out any of yesterday's game or any of the games that were played earlier today, you have your chance. You can go to the YouTube channel. All of the games are available. They are chock full of highlights.
All right, forecast, sunny as usual. We are in San Diego. Temperature 64 degrees and dropping. Humidity 47%, not too much of an issue. And wind out of the west at 8 miles per hour. So Manisha, talk a little bit about that last game that you just coached. It was a nail-biter. It was back and forth. Both teams went up a couple and couldn't quite put it away, but you pulled out right at the end.
It was an incredible win. I mean, credit to Arizona for coming back from, I know, a tough loss yesterday against the Astra, but incredible plays all around. And yes, we did end up on top just at the end, and right at the last second, I credit my team for understanding time management in that last point.
Being from the Bay Area, you have so much talent to choose from. What kind of things are you looking for in players to join a team like this?
I mean, part of this is believing in the concept, right? Like the notion of investing in women, I'm going to say this over and over and over again, is a high bar, and it's an uphill climb, and you have to get players who understand and believe in it.
And here we go. with the opening pull of the game. The Astra on offense, going right to left. And we're going to see right away Sharon Sang and Amy Halverson in the backfield with the Super Bloom in a zone defense.
Yes, definitely a 2-3-2 zone. We saw this also yesterday. Certainly something that Angela Wells has cooked up for this Los Angeles offense.
And of course, Dina Elimelech lurking in the deep zone. We see an initial turnover off the bat, San Diego with a chance to break.
Off the bat, right? And this is exactly what San Diego wants. This is a team that recognizes and utilizes movement and just quick offensive flow.
Oh, Scuber off the sideline to number 9. That's Lindsay Lang now to Zoe Tessler. Tessler trying to find Lang with the dump, can't find it. That's a stall called by the defender. We'll see if it's upheld.
Yeah, it's just held a little too long. Understanding Lang was a little bit out of position and just wasn't a great angle. So yeah, it looked like it was a high stall. Again, this is a 7-second stall. The game does move faster as a result, and I do think that the athletes
Is that good? Okay.
are still working on it.
Contested stall coming on 5.
Okay, contested stall coming back in on 5. 2 seconds to go before the disc needs to leave her hands. Does get the disc off. And back to Lang. Lang with the around, and it's bobbled and dropped on the far sideline. Astra with the disc again. That's Amy Lee.
Yeah, the key for Astra is not letting Super Blooms off defense set.
Maggie O'Connor with the lefty over to Halverson. High release continuation to Pritchard.
Nice
Pritchard
find.
back to Lee. Can't find Pritchard again. Halverson, a calming presence as that center handler, working the disc back and forth.
I had the absolute pleasure of playing with her earlier this year. Yeah, absolutely agree.
And there's Ellie Melech's first touch. Now with about 15 to go. Pritchard can't find the continuation, gets it back. Give and go with Pritchard, now on the doorstep. Finds Ellie Melech up line, and that's a score for the Astra, 1-0.
You think she's aware that she's in the lead for stats? Because that looked like she was. Again, Dina with Elimelech with 4 goals yesterday, now just adding another today.
So Ellie Melech with the early statistical contribution. Pritchard with the assist. As we see them walking up the field, here's a replay. Up line to Pritchard. Pritchard looks right back to Ellie Melech, gets the disc up line. 2 strong athletic handlers.
It's funny, I wouldn't even call Pritchard a handler. I think Pritchard's a really one of our true hybrid players, someone who understands how to be backfield, understands how to take space downfield as well. And really, you're seeing so many players start to develop that skill set to play both ways.
Yes, Carl, I mean, you and I haven't gone to college some time ago. Most players didn't necessarily come into college with polished disc skills, and now the game has developed so much at the youth level that you're seeing really polished players right off the bat. So isolation stack for the Super Bloom. Gets their initial look at the 40-yard line now.
Oh, there was Diaz with the deep cut. Again, their assist leader from last night.
Yeah, Diaz with 2 assists and 3 goals yesterday to go along with at least 1 D.
It looks like there's a stall.
We'll see what the resolution that will be upheld.
I think in that case it's just uncontested.
Okay. And the Astra a chance for a break.
Setting up in a horizontal stack.
That's Katie Punky Killebrew now. Fakes the swing, throws the blade to the other side and finds her receiver. Now with the deep shot wide open, the disc is hanging, and that's going to be D'd up nicely by the Super Bloom.
You know what's so great about players just being aware that the disc is in the air?
Oh,
Did she keep her feet
towing grab. Can't quite keep it in bounds, but really good play.
Again, Astra with a chance to break.
And Super Bloom with the bracketing downfield, forcing that swing off the sideline. Nice inside
stay
out
in?
forehand.
Oh.
Doesn't make it, and Super Bloom back on the cone.
And again, this is 80 yards. For folks at home, this is an 80-yard field. These athletes are having to play these points and work.
Good layout grab. That's Blair Messner. Super Bloom 10 yards outside of their own end zone. Swinging it around. Will be caught. Backhand Huck goes up. Messner with the disc now. And continuation to the end zone. It's floating, and it's going to be caught by number 14, Teresa Zettner.
And what's so impressive about that was 4 throws, and you get a score out of it. And just nice use of space, nice use of the break side as well.
So good concentration from Super Bloom. Good weight on that outside in backhand Huck, and the quick continuation to get Super Bloom on the board.
And again, that was a hold. Let's be clear, that was a hold for Super Bloom. They're going to have to work.
So as we see the replay, Messner, continuation of the end zone.
It does start to feel like the wind is picking up just a little.
That's right. So they have to put some more touch on those throws, depending on the direction that they're going in. Pull downwind. And we're going to see Halverson again with Astra going upwind and Super Bloom again in their zone.
Again, it's that 2-3-2, playing spaces, taking away lanes, and Astra is doing what you're supposed to do in a zone like this, is find the space between the lanes.
Is that going to work out?
Well,
of course it is.
Receiver.
We saw that a bunch yesterday, Manisha, and easy as you like.
It's so hard when you have a receiver like that. You just key in on them, and in that case, I believe that was Maggie O'Connor with the assist. By the way, former Falcon, now moved down here to Southern California.
Yeah, we see O'Connor with the lefty backhand. Going to put that all day. Sky from Eli Melech. Fakes the lefty backhand and gets the disc to Veronica Yee.
Yeah, and that just drew the defense away, making an easy assist. Nice score.
Eli Melech, if you had her in fantasy, and I'm sure most of you did, early contributor to this game with an assist and a goal.
I'm going to offer a fun insider fact on the fantasy. From the folks who entered in fantasy contributions, only 3 predicted yesterday's winners correctly out of almost 400 entries.
Wow. It's impressive.
And again, one of these 2 teams can very likely win the Winter Cup.
Again, we see that side stack from the Super Bloom break mark backhand. Is going to find its target. That's Messner again, but gets trucked by the defender and is coming up hobbling.
I did think that the Astra player did recognize that there was the possibility of contact, and I saw them pull up. I recognized the contact was not prevented, but I will say that could have been much worse. I saw the Astra player pull up.
And so far, Blair Messner really active in the deep space, Manisha.
I mean, why not? Again, you see pulling up. I appreciate the athletes recognizing that as much as we want to be able to get these scores, not at the expense of players' safety.
And tap the disc back in, and that's a quick score for the Super Bloom to tie it up at 2.
I think that was Kayla Hilton to Alex Diaz. Alex Diaz saying, hey, anything you can do, I can do better.
That's right. Kayla Hilton, of course, longtime club stalwart and champion. Part of ultimate royalty, really, with her family.
Certainly, and again, someone who started at UC Santa Barbara, been basically California born and raised, and it's lovely to see her out here playing with Super Bloom, and of course contributing in every way that she can. I mean, there was a number of Ds she had last night that just fingertips.
So close game in the early going. 4:05 left in the first, tied at 2. And that's a pull from Lindsay Lang. Good distance on that. Remember, that is one of the statistical categories. We see a changeup in the Astra handler set. Now it's Meg Hoffner and Veronica, or I should say Amy Lee. Hoffner goes to ground to save that one.
And what we're seeing, it looks like a zone coming out of Super Bloom right now. It looks like a 4-person cup.
Yeah, they've been mixing up nicely on defense, playing a zone when the Astra are going in this direction. And miscommunication between Lee and Hoffner gives the disc to the Super Bloom.
And such a quick pick up and move. I love Super Bloom's offense. Kind of want to emulate it, to be honest.
And up the line, that's going to be a goal from Rebecca Ellis to Kayla Helton.
And a break, y'all.
So Super Bloom take advantage of that miscommunication to go up 1, 3-2.
And it's really fun, especially with this rule set. I know there's been some confusion about the rule set, but it's been incredible to watch the coaches of the WL figure out how to really apply and take advantage of the rules to their own. Angela Wells was very strategic with timeout usage yesterday. I have no doubt she's going to continue the same today. And, of course, the substitutions that you're allowed to do, both on timeouts, that you can actually wholesale. That's what's so fun about it. Your D-line gets a turn, throw your O-line is. Call a timeout. It's great.
Yeah, it really makes the use of your timeouts a lot more strategic than in the club game.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we see that traditional handler set back for the Astra. And we'll see if they can score going downwind to tie the game up.
And again, you're seeing Super Bloom use this zone to try and make those lanes very hard to hit. Very nice usage of using the full width of the field. That's what you have to do to get out of these zones, is just make them swing the full 40 yards. Again, this is a very similar rule set to USAU in the sense that we use the same width, but it's 80 yards length.
Nice lefty backhand from Halverson. We're seeing some good throws through the cup. We saw an inside forehand from Sang to get through.
Super Bloom has now transitioned to person defense.
We see O'Connor up to Pritchard on the far sideline. 5 yards out, back to O'Connor.
O'Connor's going to look for a lefty high release. Okay.
Oh, just over the defender. Now back to O'Connor, has to go to ground. Gets
Nice
that lefty forehand too high for Sang. Super Bloom with another chance. And it's going to be an immediate shot. OI flick huck. It's going to be read by the defender.
I think that throw kind of just shanked for Lang. I'm not sure that was the lane Lang was looking for. But I understand in isolation like that, it's hard to look off.
And this is the commissioner, Alicia Yang. And O'Connor up the sideline, but that's good defensive positioning from Super Bloom to get that disc back, to get on the inside shoulder.
And again, that was O'Connor looking for Emelec. You understand, right? These players are trying to key in. And if you're Super Bloom, you have to understand that you have a matchup to take care of here.
And a huck going the other direction. We have a wide open receiver, but that never had a chance, may not have even gone back in bounds. And Astra will now have only 1 yard to go. And Halverson will have the disc working in a tight space. And when you're at this point on the field, do you want a quick look to the cone, or do you just want to immediately get it off the sideline?
Get it off the sideline. Get it off the sideline.
Yeah, that 7-second stall count comes up very quickly.
And it's just, not only for player safety, but also just your offense flows better when you're not trapped on the sideline within the end zone.
Oh, and defensive pressure causes Halverson to drop the disc. Super Bloom with a chance to hold now to end the quarter. Again, it's possession-based end of quarter, so the clock can hit 0, but if you retain possession, you can keep going and try to score.
Correct. And again, a beautiful use of a timeout, understanding, hey, I have 23 seconds. I want to maintain possession. I want to have the last score of the quarter. Again, we've noticed that Angela Wells is very good with understanding how to use the timeouts in this rule set. And if I am Angela Wells in this, I am saying we're going to hold that disc. We're just going to maintain possession, force Astra to generate a turn.
All right, so we have Kelly Iwamoto, who will be picking up the disc for Super Bloom, with Malia Smith on the mark.
And they have about 70 yards to go, again, with the longer length of the field.
Iwamoto fakes the backhand, gets the disc to her dump. Astra with those flat marks, forcing Super Bloom to go side to side. Oh, and a layout bid gets caught by Diaz after the bobble.
I think there was a foul call on that. Again, Super Bloom does maintain possession, but with the foul call, it should stay with number 9.
Yeah, that's Rebecca Ellis, already with 1 assist on the game. 20 seconds left in the quarter. Again, just have to keep possession. Dink and dunk up the sideline, moving it through. Wanting that swing and finds it.
And at this point now, you know this is the last possession of this quarter. So either Super Bloom scores or we end this quarter.
Iwamoto back to Jones, back to Ellis. Jones now.
And again,
Scuber.
Such an offensively favored sport, this really does put a lot of pressure on Astra to have to generate a turn.
Oh, there's a wide open player in the end zone. It's going to be thrown and caught for the score.
Kayla Hilton.
Kayla Helton
having a
finding
great
that
first
deep
quarter.
space.
An excellent clock management, excellent use of just being able to get through the junk that Astra put on, and then finding a wide open player in the end zone. Great offense.
So that'll take us to the end of the quarter. Game 4-2 Super Bloom. We're going to see a replay here of that near D and catch by Diaz. And then the great throw to the end zone for Helton. We're going to take a quick commercial break. We'll be back for the start of the second.
Stay tuned.
Alti Photos is the official photographer of Winter Cup. Visit them at altiphotos.com. The Western Ultimate League is sponsored by Breakmark Apparel. They make our players and our fans look great on or off the ultimate field. Shop the full line of Western Ultimate League team gear at breakmark.com. Suja Juice is an organic, non-GMO cold-pressed juice company based in San Diego, California, and they're sponsoring the Western Ultimate League. Shout out to Suja Juice, and you can learn more about them at sujajuice.com. The Western Ultimate League and all of our member teams are stepping forward to help women and non-binary players claim their space in pro sports. Every purchase of Claim Your Space gear helps spread the word and helps us achieve that mission. Shop the limited edition collection at westernultimateleague.com/shop. Thanks to Winter Cup sponsors and the hosts of our Winter Cup Saturday Night Social, New Motion Beverages and Embolden Beer Co. Learn about their craft artisan beverages at drinknewmotion.com.
And welcome back for the start of the second quarter. Super Bloom up 4-2 against Astra. Again, a game with major implications for the final cup victory.
Absolutely. Again, right now, Super Bloom is up 4-2. Both teams at the end of yesterday were ahead in the point totals. Again, knowing that there was a big win by Utah Wild earlier today, the winner of this game can conceivably win the Winter Cup.
And Kayla Helton putting her stamp on this game early.
Very much so. Again, you saw a very different role. Kayla Hilton very much in a defensive position yesterday. In this case, really kind of generaling the offense. You noticed even with just some of the assists and decision-making, really calming this Super Bloom offense and finding really the right looks.
And smart use of the zone, too, by Super Bloom, limiting the impact of Dina Elimele.
You know, I hadn't even thought about that. That's a great point, Jeremy. That is an incredible thought process of how do you limit such a dynamic receiver. And you're right, often zones are the answer.
Okay, set for the pull. 10 minutes to go in the half. Again, you still have some time to like those Instagram posts or those Twitter posts.
I mean, I'll put a plug in for San Francisco. Come on, y'all.
Yeah, do it for Manisha. Come on.
Exactly, do it for me.
What was the process of that holiday card like?
It was really fun. We didn't even tell the players when they took the team photo that's what we were going to use it for.
A little bait and switch.
Oh, not a bait and switch. More, this is fun. Let's do it.
All right, Astra throwing a zone of their own. Interesting choice with Super Bloom going downwind. Iwamoto jacking it. Good defense by Astra to get the disc.
I mean, if you're Astra and you trust your receivers, especially in that your defensive players in that deep space, why not?
Contested throw, but better catch by Audrey Brown. All right, backhand swing to the center. Looks like we have a call. And a timeout is called by the Astra.
And again, with timeouts, both teams have an opportunity to sub players. In fact, you can even substitute the thrower. At a timeout, the stall actually resets back to 1. It is a fun change in the rule set. One of the fun things about doing the WL is to be able to decide, can we change the rules of the game, the watchability of this game?
We could take a look at the scoring format for this tournament. Again, team with the highest point total at the end of the Winter Cup wins. You win the game, you get 15 points, 4 points for first place in a daily stats category. That's longest pulls, goal differential, goals, assists, and blocks leaders. So fan engagement. Too late for the fantasy game if you haven't entered already, but hope you're following along with your point totals. But those 8 points for the Instagram contest winner are still active.
And out of a timeout again, offense will set, defense then gets 20 seconds.
So they're bringing back an O-line on the field. Halverson finds Yang. Commissioner with the disc on the near sideline, fakes the big backhand. To Lee. Lee to Pritchard. Pritchard wants Yang, can't find her, and over the head of Lee, but caught by O'Connor.
There's a question about whether it's down, but understand that this is an there's an injury as well, and there's going to be an injury timeout here. But this is one of the instances where it's actually an active call by the observer. Again, this is a little bit different from those who have watched USAU games. These will be active calls. You should be hearing the observers instantly saying whether a call is up or down. Now, that's actually, I don't know. The replay is phenomenal, but
Yeah, it looks like it is called up, so great heads-up play from O'Connor to keep that disc alive. Lee now very quick in the backfield. She's streaking deep. Are they going to find her? No. Back to Ellie Melech. Finds Lee.
This is a great use of both the open side and the break side, swinging this disc so beautifully.
Zion's got to get the disc off.
Looks like there's a pick call.
Yeah, stall count getting high.
So we get too high because WL is different. So we're going to come in on hitting 3. Like how in USAU it's a stall of 10, but the pick can only come in maximum 6. A stall of 7, a pick can only come in max 4. So we'll say 4. That makes sense?
Like stalling 4.
Saying 4. Saying 4! When you're ready.
And what you're seeing is also what's called the pre-stall. Again, another change in the rule set allows players to actively move before the initiation of an offense.
Saying now with the disc. Poaching on the open side. Gets the run through block and now streaking deep. Iwamoto wants it. Gets the backhand instead.
Same bounce.
That is towed in.
Again, you're seeing the active calls coming from the observers for in and out as well.
And that's Deed, but caught by Diaz.
I just don't know how Diaz does this every time.
And Diaz finds the receiver in the end zone for the score. That's Avery Jones, Great heads-up play from Diaz.
Nice crowd for this last game. Again, hometown Super Bloom playing nearby hometown Los Angeles Astra. Lots of folks have come down for this game. It's a great cherry on top of this weekend.
Here we see a replay. Diaz maintaining the concentration, gives and goes, and finds that score to the corner. Diaz with 3 goals and 2 assists yesterday, now with a goal and an assist apiece.
It's just so much fun to watch these athletes just compete. And like I said, within a different rule set, within a different sort of strategy and mindset, but it's still just demonstrate incredible athleticism and concentration. I mean, that was a great heads-up play by Diaz just to catch it off the mat.
You know, we saw such consistent handling from Astra yesterday. A little bit of a crack in the armor, losing a few breaks. They've changed up their handlers a couple of times in the early going, trying to get some more chemistry.
It's not even that, again, recognize what a zone does, especially on a 7-second stall. I mean, you don't have a lot of time to look downfield.
O'Connor with the disc, back to Halverson. Halverson with Hoffner, finds the inside almost flat break to Elimela, who then gets it to O'Connor with a lot of space. Can't find Pritchard.
It's like they're looking for each other.
Absolutely. High release backhand goes over the head, and that's going to be gobbled up by Zoe Tessler.
It was really nice offensive movement until that point. Just
and
Huck
Huck the other way to Amanda Tatum. Now with the fast break. Gets the disc on the sideline. Oh, and that is a great catch by number 24, Christina Dabowski from Kayla Helton. Unfortunately, we have a player down. That's Maggie O'Connor. Hopefully she's all right. And walks it off, and it looks like that is going to stand as a goal. Super Bloom up 6-2.
That was just a little inside-out break and close play. Understand those are bang-bangs, and I certainly think Kayla Hilton looks at that and says, either I got to lead this individual a little bit more, or I holster that.
But talk a little bit about how you developed the rule set for this particular event.
You know, it's funny. So I am on the rules committee for the WL. It's myself. It was Chena Titcomb. It was Helen Effert. And a lot of it was, what did we want to change? You know, you have 3 players who've played for a long time between the 3 of us. And a lot of what we wanted to do was, 1, think about what makes the game watchable and frankly, fun for the players. But also, you know, there's opportunities to think about how rules can be changed and what that can do both, again, to strategy and just, frankly, player experience. And that's really what we wanted. We wanted to bring forward a product that really focused both on the fans but as well as the players.
And we've already been hearing some great feedback from the players about how much fun it is to play under this format, too.
It is so much fun. As a coach, I mean, it's a little stressful, but it is fun.
So we see an entirely new offensive line for the Astra trying to stop the bleeding. And a beautiful grab to save possession.
I'm pretty sure that's Astra's D line that's on right now. You know, sometimes you really have to change it up.
Astra with
There's
a disc about 15 yards outside of the end zone. And on the doorstep, can they find that continuation? Stall count getting up there. That's going to be streaking to the end zone for the goal, and the Astra bring it to within 3.
It's a great call. Sometimes you really have to change up your line, inject some energy back into your team, and that was a great way to do it. Astra now scoring after, I think that was 4 in a row for Super Bloom, getting back on the board and hopefully back in a driver's seat here.
And you can see a lot of that straight line speed that Astra bring. Here we go with the D and the great layout grab to save possession. And then on the goal line, streaking up line, that's Naomi Guzman with the goal.
Now, I'll be curious to see whether Astra comes down in a person defense or comes down in some sort of zone. I mean, we've seen Super Bloom's ability both to swing the disc, but also, of course, look for receivers like Diaz. I'm curious to see what Astra does at this point.
It's Annie Luneau with the assist. So 4:38 left in the second, and we've got Katie Killebrew.
It looks like we are seeing person defense coming down from Astra.
Good poaching in the middle to gum up those lanes. Diaz with the one-handed snag, and the immediate throw to the end zone is floating. Defender in pursuit, but it's caught.
Again, 7 seconds. You need to get this disc off.
Zettner with the disc gets it back to Iwamoto. Bobbled but caught. Gets the mark to lay out, throws the lefty backhand to Iwamoto. Some creative fakes and throws here on this point.
Tries to jump in.
Wow, and a really nice point from number 11, Avery Jones. Faking the defender out of her shoes and then throwing that goal.
Really nice use of the break side of the field. I mean, those Super Bloom breaks are just really nice. They're just curve and they sit, and it allows the receiver just to come onto it, and certainly something that looks practiced.
So here we see the throw from Diaz.
Very nice.
Zettner gets up. Tries to jump it in, can't quite get to it. Fights through the mark and finds the receiver.
Beautiful around. And it's just fun also to see the players talk about the points afterwards. One, they get to celebrate each other. I think that's incredible. But what I have also appreciated is listening to the athletes sort of workshop points. What can we do? How do we get this better? And they're really adapting and learning to this rule set, and it's been so much fun to watch.
So back to a 4-goal advantage. Halverson jumps over the disc.
Sometimes you just don't want to catch it.
Oh, and throws behind Pritchard. Super Bloom wanting to make it 5. Can't find Lang. Good dump defense. And timeout is called.
And what you're hearing is a whistle. One of the things that we are experimenting for this tournament is utilizing a whistle so that it can help the observers hear timeouts, because timeouts can be called by coaches on the sideline. You see in football, you see the coaches walking up to the referee. In this case, because we have observers, we want to give an opportunity for the observers to be able to recognize calls. And then again, strategically as coaches, make the adjustments as needed. Do you keep the same line? Do you switch out your line? But more importantly, what do you do now with a brand new fresh 7 seconds?
So you had mentioned before that your roster was already set for next year as opposed to some of the other teams. So can you explain the reasoning behind why you're choosing to do that?
Well, part of it is let's recognize that we had set this roster in January of 2020. Obviously, we had a pandemic in the middle of that. And I know many people at home can understand that life will happen. And when you take 2 years off from the sport, your roster's going to look different.
Oh, just beyond the reach.
Well, I suppose my roster would look different. I think San Francisco probably has one of the more older rosters than some of the other teams. But yes, we already have our roster set, and I'm so excited to see who comes back from the remaining 5 teams.
I'm sure that continuity can only be beneficial for you.
I hope so, because we didn't play that great.
Astra forced to put up the punt. That's going to be eaten up by Kayla Helton. And there's the backhand. Too easy for Diaz with the score from Lindsay Lang.
Really just pouring it on. Super Bloom, again, have a hometown crowd cheering for them. Many of their families, friends here to watch. And that's the excitement of pro, right? You get to play in front of your hometown.
I have to say, some of the consistency I'm seeing, these short field turnovers are leading to a lot of those break mark backhands to that opposite side of the field as we see Lang make that throw. Just basically not letting the mark get a chance to set and just really quick, fast breaking to the other side.
I mean, these athletes are coming from backgrounds in college, backgrounds in club, and I have to tell you, I've watched Lindsay Lang's career, and that is par for course with Lang. Just has an incredible understanding of how to use the wind and create edges on their throws, and it shows. This Lang is only going to get better as a thrower as their career progresses.
The advantage is 5. Astra with Lee now as the center handler working the disc. We have Pritchard. Some clogging in the center. Dina fakes the backhand. Gets it back to her handler, back to Lee. Lee with the inside dump upfield. Pritchard lays out but can't quite get it.
And just so the folks know at home, you are seeing that the clock is now hitting 2 minutes. At the last 2 minutes of every quarter, the clock will stop on calls and will stop at the disc going out of bounds. Other than that, the clock will continue to move other than between points.
And Iwamoto finds Dubowski off her hands.
Gotta get it off.
You need to find someone, but there is that Helton again?
And you know, that's a great matchup, actually, Helton versus Pritchard. Those are just two dynamic cutters, and it's exciting to actually see this matchup.
It's interesting that they put Helton on Pritchard and not Ellie Melech. It's some insight into that strategy.
I feel like you have to ask Angela Wells.
All right, but Astra get it back. O'Connor will pick it up. Lefty thrower, eyes for the end zone, throwing and going.
Again, this point is where clock management really should start to come into play. There is a minute left on this clock. So if I'm Astra, I want to score quickly. I got to say that. I want another chance to be able to get the disc back.
High release fake, Ellie Melech. Chisels backfield, gets the disc again. Astra moving backwards, changing the angle of attack. Oh, and another run through D from Helton. I got to say, this is an impressive defensive performance.
Definitely. And now, again, if you are Super Bloom, recognize the clock. Use the remainder of the clock. Well, all right, Helton says no.
Jacks it deep, has the receiver, but too far for Amanda Tatum.
Now it flips the other way. This is Astra's chance to maintain possession till the end of this quarter. So again, if I'm Astra, there's got to be a timeout called. Give yourselves a chance to just give everyone a rest, come back, and know that you have unlimited time to score.
Yeah, you see how exhausted Astra players are, hands on hips, needing to stop the damage, bring things within 4. At 4, you still feel like you have a chance in the second half to bring it close.
Again, with the clock, it really changes the game. You know, it doesn't look like what we see with USA Ultimate. 4 never feels out of reach at that point, because if you can manage the clock well, there are so many points that can be scored. I recognize that some of these points are taking a while, but that's a credit to just great defense coming from both sides. And again, if I am San Diego, I'm putting my best D-line in. Do not want them scoring.
Now you've played with Kayla Helton?
I have played with Kayla Helton.
So
I've also played against Kayla Helton.
Can you tell the viewers at home, what is it that makes her such a great defender?
You know, looks like we're getting a replay right now, and there's the block. You know, I will say this. Kayla is one of the hardest working athletes I've ever met. And to be a great defender, you have to be willing to grind and just work on your footwork, your positioning, your hips. Those are so key, and Kayla really keys in. All right, unfortunately a turn.
As O'Connor turfs the disc, that will end the half with Super Bloom taking a commanding 8-3 lead over the Los Angeles Astra.
I think they want to win the cup.
They are certainly gunning for it. statistical leaders in the first half. It's the Kayla Helton Show, 3 assists and 1 goal to go with numerous Ds. Alex Diaz again making the mark with 2 goals and 1 assist. For the Astra, we have Veronica Yee and Naomi Guzman, Dina Elimelech
Each with
on the
1
board.
goal.
And Alex Kruger, Dina, and Annie Gno with the assists. So, bit of a tough first half for the Astra. If you're coaching them, what are you saying now, and are you going to try to switch up strategy for the second half?
I mean, a part of it is shaking it off, right? Because of the quarter system, you really get a fresh start every quarter. And more importantly, I think what you have to be asking yourself is, our ability to move the disc laterally across the field has been what makes us successful. Let's go back to what made us successful yesterday and really swing that disc, force the creation of lanes by changing the angle of attack. It's something I will say I was saying a lot to the Falcons. I'm not sure if they listened all the time. But I definitely think that Astra is really just missing opportunities right now more than having it taken away. Don't get me wrong, Kayla Hilton is taking away opportunities. But if I'm Astra, I recognize I have an incredible team, incredible talent. You don't need to key in on one person, and use your full roster.
Yeah, how about the Utah Wild? I mean, not a team that's terribly well known. They got players from all over. It's really the first time they've had a chance to even play together as a team. What's impressed you with them this weekend?
Everything about the Wild impressed me. An incredible, collective effort. Players from 4 different states. You are correct. They arrived last night, had their first practice before games started yesterday, and the quality of play that you saw was incredible. There were some miscues, don't get me wrong, but you had incredible handlers pulling that backfield. And first of all, let's come back to this game too, y'all, because someone's going to win that Winter Cup today.
All right. We'll see you soon. Take it to break.
We believe that women and non-binary athletes deserve to be seen and our abilities showcased for the world to see.
We believe in perpetuating Ultimate by establishing professional teams and developing future generations of players.
We believe players of all identities and backgrounds deserve an equal opportunity to be recognized and lauded for our achievements in our sport.
We believe in sustainably and responsibly creating equitable and accessible avenues for women and non-binary athletes to join and participate in our sport.
We believe that being transparent,
open,
and responsive to criticism is critical,
and that there should always be space
to fix our mistakes,
grow, and be better. We are the Western Ultimate League.
I'm Megan Bacon-Praz. My pronouns are she, her. I'm here with Kayla Helton of San Diego Super Bloom. That was quite a first half you had on the stat sheet. Really great performance out there. Knowing that you get points for stats, was that part of the plan to score as many or throw as many assists as you did, get as many Ds?
Not particularly, but I don't normally play on teams with O and D lines, so having a very clear focus of playing on the D line, that's been what I've been aiming for, is just getting blocks.
That's amazing. Not even 2 months ago, you were out here at USA Nationals playing with Fury. How does it feel to be back here playing at this field?
It's great. This field feels very special, especially the night game last night. There's just something amazing about this, except that the turf really rips your arms up. I should have remembered that. But it's a special feeling, and being out here for professional women's with a new group has been really fun.
Awesome. And speaking of which, you played this season with the PUL, now you're here with the WUL. Can you tell me a little bit about what that experience has been like between the two leagues and what you're looking forward to this year with the rest of the WUL?
Yeah, I mean, playing for my local hometown, I haven't done that in a while. I played for Revolution in the PUL, and there's just a special energy to women's professional, a lot of excitement around it, and I'm just really happy for the opportunity.
Awesome. Is there anything else that you would like to say to the fans of San Diego or anyone out there watching this game here today?
Just say thank you for supporting us, and we've had a lot of the local teams come out to the games and help volunteer, and I really appreciate that. We definitely feel the love from the community, so thank you.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Kayla, and you have an amazing second half, and good luck out there.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks so much. All right, now we'll go to break.
The WL is giving women and non-binary folks space. And I think, like watching the power behind the WNBA last year, the political changes they were able to make happen, what the women's soccer team has been able to do. I love that pro sports are encouraging female matching players to take space. We're worth watching. We can compete at a high level. We push each other.
Personally, I grow a lot from learning from other people, learning different play styles, and this Cascades was a really awesome opportunity to play with a whole range of different people and skill sets.
Oh, this is so amazing. I get to play at this high level with all these other amazing women and non-binary folk, and I'm just so excited to be in that space.
I'm just so excited to see what pro ultimate for women can look like 5 years from now.
All right, and we're back. Great first half of action, Manisha. And any points of emphasis for the second half if you are Super Bloom, or you just keep it rolling?
I mean, if I'm Super Bloom, again, don't, if it ain't broke, you don't have to worry about trying to fix it. Keep it simple. Just make sure that you keep your energy up on the sideline. Again, this is a game where tides can turn very quickly. A couple quick points, and all of a sudden, you're going to find yourself in a tie game. I know that because that's what happened to me. So if I'm, like I said, if I'm Angela Wells, I'm keeping the energy loose. I'm making sure my players stay focused and ready for the second half, because anything can happen.
Okay, and we've got another sideline interview with Megan Praz. Take it away, Megan.
Hello, I'm back with here at the Winter Cup. I'm Megan Praz, pronounced she, her, and I'm here with LA Astra's Brittany Grimshaw. So a bit of a challenging first half. What is it going to take for Astra to come back in the second half?
It's really the mindset, just coming back with a positive attitude, and then coming back strong, making sure our resets and our handle resets, and then our continues are strong going into the second half.
Very cool, very cool. So I know that you're fairly new to Southern California, but I know a lot of players on these teams have played against each other for a long time. What would you say about the rivalry between San Diego and LA, and some of the the drama between the players who've played on both of these teams?
I feel like it's a very close-knit community, even going up to San Francisco. So many of the individuals that have lived down here have lived up there and vice versa. And so it's nice to see players after you've met them 1 or 2 years, and even though they've moved, you're still familiar and you can still connect on various items in and out of Ultimate.
Awesome. So who is your favorite player to guard on Super Bloom then? Who's your favorite matchup?
My favorite matchup on Super Bloom, probably Dante.
Dante? Why
yes.
Dante?
She's an exciting player. She's fun to play with. Great spirit, wonderful person.
Awesome. Great to hear it. And lastly, what's it been like to play at this level on this stage, knowing all that these games, you have a huge crowd in front of you, it's live streamed. How does that feel?
It feels wonderful. It's nice to have all the love and support with the local communities and all those tuning into the live stream.
All right. Anything else you'd like to say to the fans back home?
No. Thank you for tuning in.
All right. Well, thank you so much. The second half is coming up soon, and we'll go to another break. Thank you.
All right, so Manisha, I already got my sweet Los Angeles Astra socks in the mail a couple of weeks ago. But if you are a fan at home, you can go to losangelesastra.com and get these sweet, sweet Gators, jerseys, and discs.
Hey, a little hometown bias here. What is going on? There's gear for every team available at the Breakmark store, so you can support your favorite team, no matter which city they're from.
Exactly. Even San Francisco.
Hey, even San... Oh, my gosh. I
I'm
thought
sorry.
we were friends.
You know. I have to root for LA.
I have to root against LA.
Well, yeah.
All right, let's open it up for the second half. We're going to see Super Bloom pulling to Astra, giving Astra a chance to, again, close that gap.
Say San Francisco wins too much anyway.
First of all, what part of San Francisco? That's the question.
Oh, so it goes so it goes much deeper then.
So much deeper.
Like Mission District versus Ocean Beach, that kind of thing.
Something like that.
Something like that. Okay, Astra back on offense. Pritchard to Lee. And to O'Connor. Pritchard going up the line.
Again, with the matchup with Helton, that has stayed inconsistent for the second half. That's a great choice.
Interesting, we saw Ellie Mello in the backfield, but now she's going deep. Ooh, and a near layout again for Helton, really making life difficult for Pritchard this game.
I mean, it makes sense. Pritchard is such a great every other player.
And Lee just roasts her defender to the cone for the lefty flick from O'Connor, and that's going to be a hold for Astra.
And again, like that, you start to chip away little by little. That only took 58 seconds off the clock. And now you have a chance to get a D and, again, close that gap.
And you see a replay, O'Connor to Lee. Lee with that wonderful straight line speed.
You know what's fun is that it looks like what Astra is doing is sort of switching positions. They're putting their handlers downfield, putting some of the cutters in the backfield, really switching, and frankly, perhaps some of the matchups that Super Bloom is trying to make. Super Bloom, if you're on the line, you're saying, I'm guarding a handler, I'm guarding a cutter. What if they're not that?
That's right. Only 1 minute off the clock in the third. Plenty of time left for Astra to make this a game. Again, a lot on the line. Whoever wins this game will be the presumed winner of the cup.
Hard to say. I got to say, it's hard to say.
That's Iwamoto now to number 13. That's Leslie Willis.
And now you're seeing Astra, again, sort of trying to slow the offense down, playing a little sag. Looks like a 3-3-1.
That's a backhand huck. That's number 81, Blair Messner.
Very nice find.
Ooh, Diaz again with the snag.
Moving the disc very well.
Backhand high release, going to find Iwamoto in the end zone for the goal from 55, Sarah Zhang.
It's such a nice high release, over the top, very easy to catch, receiver in the right place, and just the D, of course, will be out of position with a throw like that.
As Zhang goes over the top, and Iwamoto snags it out of the sky.
I find it funny when players are like, am I in? Am I actually in? Oh, yeah, I was in. Okay. And I'm sure that's what they're saying on the sideline. The banter has been really fun just to listen to these athletes talk. It'd be really fun just to sort of think of in the future if we could just mic up some of these players. It'd be incredible to watch and listen to. Both the encouragement and just, the smack talk that sometimes happens.
So tell me about observers versus refs. We have observers, obviously, in this format. What was the calculation that you made going with observers versus self-refereeing versus refs?
Again, we wanted this to be a player-centric model, and a player-centric model needs to give as much accountability and control to the players. Observers are there really to help with the pace of games. One of the things I really like, again, with so many active calls with the observer, is it just moves the pace faster, especially with up, downs, in and out.
Oh my, big collision in the backfield.
I always enjoy when players decide to sit on the ground to discuss calls. Sometimes it's just better to be on the ground.
Ooh.
And this is an instance where you're seeing Helton come in from behind. Lee, unfortunately, cannot see Helton in a situation like this, so I can understand why the foul call is being made. It looks to me like Helton is not contesting the call, which I think is the right call.
If I'm Astra, I'm seeing Kayla Helton in my nightmares for the next couple of weeks.
Oh, or the next couple months until they play again, right?
3, 2, 1.
It's Malia Smith and Halverson with O'Connor on the near sideline.
As you can see, Superbloom is really trying to push Astra to that corner. Again, if I'm Astra, I really have to resist that temptation. And
ooh, you see them funneling it to the middle, a near block.
hanging on a little too tight. Or too
Defense causing the handlers to just second guess themselves. Hold on to the disc for a couple more pump fakes. That's tough. O'Connor to the end zone. Looking for Elimelech. Great defense by Superbloom's Kristen Pajunas.
That is a matchup that's also very fun. If you think about U24 in that last cycle, those were two players. I had the fortunate ability to be a selector in that cycle. We literally put them against each other.
Pajunas, a proud UCLA alum. Oh, and a D the other direction. Elimelech gets a hand in there. And that's going to be a goal for the Astra to bring it back within 4. And Veronica Yee with her second goal of the game. Here we see lefty backhand from O'Connor to the end zone. Pajunas gets the D's pumped up about it. Astra back in the other direction.
You got to shake it off, right? You just got to come back and keep playing. Again, if I'm Astra, this game is not over. We are still only halfway through the third quarter, another quarter to go after this. This is the time to ratchet up that defensive pressure.
And Astra in their zone defense. What are we seeing from them this time?
Again, I understand the need to play zone to try and take away some of the deep looks, but again, if this is about generating a turn, playing a zone isn't the type of defense that'll generate it. It is hard person defense, one-on-one.
Diaz fakes the big forehand. Avery Jones back to Diaz.
These high release flicks, I gotta say, sometimes cheeky, sometimes creative. I can't decide.
As long as it gets there.
I suppose so.
Peeling off her mark to find the D. That's 27, Alex Kruger.
Now, if I'm Astra, this is about possession now. You need to get this score.
Astra working well.
On the doorstep. Swing it.
Finds the swing. Wants the continuation. Instead, throw it back to the other side and is going. But a timeout is called. Ooh.
Great call. No, great call. Again, you reset your stall. Give yourself a chance to put in new players if you need to. And you are seeing already Astra is subbing in players which is, I think, a beautiful usage of the rules. It's so much fun, like I said, to watch coaches really adapt this rule set for their own and for their rosters.
Let's watch this block again.
Ulti-World really crushing it with the replays, y'all.
So as a coach, if you're in a situation like that where your D team gets the D and is kind of rolling down the field, how much do you want to, even if they don't necessarily have the best handlers, how much do you want to stick with the momentum that you have versus calling a timeout and replacing them?
Well, you know, it's funny. I had this question come up for myself in the last game. If I'm thinking about the next point, and you have to, you only got 60 seconds, and I know I want my D-line back in, yeah, I'm subbing them out.
So it's Hoffner and Sang. Ellie Melech gets up for the grab.
And why wouldn't you put Ella Melech in right now?
Oh, Pritchard nearly gets D'd. Pritchard really wants this badly. Astra remaining patient. Need to score this goal if they have a chance. If they want to have a chance.
The commish with the disc.
Stall count getting high, throws it up. Can't find Pritchard.
If you're Astra, you're frustrated because this was your chance. This was a chance to close the gap. It was great defensive positioning by Superbloom. I mean, again, anytime you're seeing a turnover, recognize that there is always good defense on the other end of that.
That's that risk reward you have with stopping the play and letting the defense get set again. But Superbloom have to go that full 80. We'll see if they can get it done. Huck goes up.
They're like, let us just do it in one pass.
The commish in pursuit, but it is caught. Teresa Zettner.
What an incredible!
Oh my goodness, the layout grab from Kristen Pajunas.
I just stood up. I couldn't even sit for that. First of all, the angle of that throw. Second of all, the finish. Oh no.
Oh no, and we are potentially coming back, folks.
I don't care. Ulti-World, find that highlight. Post it.
Crowd is apoplectic at that call. We see the Huck again.
What's the call here?
And watch the inside out. Just look at the angle of this throw. What a great grab. I feel so bad for them, but hey, there was a call. Unfortunately, just wasn't acknowledged.
Oh, Zettner.
So many angles of this grab. This better make the highlight reel.
Ellie Melech not even with a chance to make a bid on that.
Because of the
weight.
angle of the throw. It was just, it curved so perfectly.
It doesn't matter that much. So 4-second pre-stall when you're ready.
Again, you're hearing the pre-stall. Essentially what the pre-stall is doing is it allows players to start moving before the offense is initiated.
Miscommunication, but Iwamoto cleans it up. Back to Avery. Avery Jones with the backhand Huck. Diaz and O'Connor in the area, and O'Connor's going to get the D.
I do think that might have been an injury call prior to that throw going up. I do see.
Oh, Meg Hoffner, yes. Limping off the sideline. That's going to come back.
Maggie's like, what? I will say, if you can't tell, right now the 4 observers are using mics to communicate with each other. The intention is to try and make the game go a little faster. I recognize some of these calls have taken a little bit longer, but the observers are doing what they can to help with the pace of the game. All of them are mic'd up, not only for Ulti-World, but with each other.
Still a really good D from Maggie O'Connor. You know, if you
against Diaz, yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't tune into the broadcast yesterday, you found out that her favorite workout is the burpee mild.
I am aware.
Which just, I don't even really know what that is. I could probably guess, but it just sounds awful.
Okay, 4-second pre-stall whenever you're ready.
And now with the pre-stall, the thrower cannot throw the disc until the disc is called in. And again, now we're in the last 2 minutes of the game. There will be stoppages on the clock in the event that the disc goes out of bounds.
Iwamoto all alone and is going to catch it in front of Pritchard for the goal. Avery Jones with the assist to Iwamoto, who's got her second goal of the game.
Just took a stat away, really. That's what happened here.
Here you see the replay. It's Jones with the flick. Iwamoto coming under Pritchard. And she's fired up.
I would be. I mean, you rewarded your teammate after that great grab to continue to then at least finish the point, get the score. I mean, that's the best respect you can show your teammate, especially after a grab like that and has to come back.
What can you tell us about the Super Bloom coaches, Angela Wells and Andrea Duran?
So Angela Wells and I actually were also teammates, really bringing it back, y'all. And it's been fun to watch Angela progress as a coach and really utilize the energy she brings. She's a cheerleading coach by profession, if I'm not mistaken, as well. And it just has electrified, I think, the San Diego community. And it's showing with Super Bloom.
Astra with a minute and a half left could choose to maintain possession through the end of the quarter should they wish, but they're down 5, so you'd really like to score quick as they can.
Score quick here. And again, a smart move by Super Bloom to slow the pace of the game down with the zone. It does force more passes. It takes time off the clock.
Ooh,
and sometimes you have to get creative. Oh, catch it. Oh.
Just nearly missed. We see Astra's D-line that were brought back out for offense after the O was broken. And now, with the exception of Ellie Melech, that's Helton. Power position, throwing that huck to Pajunas. Pajunas is going to easily catch that one 5 yards out.
So here's the question. You call timeout? 7 seconds.
And she's going to throw the inside flick, and it's, not going to work out. Very close.
It looks like there was actually a foul call on that. So the clock again will stop.
And that's Naomi Guzman on defense.
And it looks like it's uncontested, if I'm not mistaken. Again, uncontested. So this is going to come back out. San Diego with 24 seconds. You know, I'm asking, does San Diego at this point maybe drop back a couple yards to take the full clock? That's the advantage now, thinking about how to use this rule set. Do you score quickly? I mean, all right, fine, score quickly.
Yeah, might as well.
I mean, if you're trying to go for the stat leader, I suppose you should, right?
Exactly. That's Rebecca Ellis on the assist.
Now 19 seconds on the clock left for the third. If I'm Astra, I'm saying, hey, we're going to hold possession, single possession, no turnover offense. Let's try and start to claw back if we can.
At this point, another thing to consider is that San Diego has the point differential scoring points in play.
That's true. It's one of the categories.
So 4 points there with some tight games earlier in the day. So that'll definitely help their cause for the overall standings.
It's also impressive to see, again, most of these rosters are coming with 17, 18, 19 players. I mean, let's just talk about the athleticism that it takes to be playing point after point after point.
All right, 18 seconds left. Astra will most likely hold for this final possession unless they have a quick turnover. Zone again from the defense, trying to force a lot of short passes.
And at this point now, you just wait it out. Again, if you're Super Bloom right now, it looks like they've transitioned to person. You're either going to generate a block or see if Astra will turn it over on their own. And
Connor with the backhand. It's going to go over the head of the defender, and that is a perfect throw for Dina Elimelech at the end of the quarter.
That was a really nice use of small ball into a big huck. And I hope to see more of that for this last quarter for Astra.
O'Connor with the grab, winds up the lefty backhand. Dina's open by probably 10 yards.
Just a tough receiver to guard, certainly. And an incredible ability to really create separation on deep looks.
As a lefty myself.
Hey, me too.
So you know that look. You just got to be salivating over that one.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, especially with so much force flick. I mean, we see that the sport has changed. We're seeing a lot more backhand. But when it was all force flick, I was like, give me the ball. Give me the rock. Give it to me.
My first ever tournament that I saw was what was then Potlatch 2002, and I was equally bad with both hands. And so I was talking to some more experienced player there. I said, well, what should I do? Should I be a lefty or righty? They said, well, lefties are pretty valuable because you get to throw a lot of backhands where everyone else is throwing a forehand. So that's how I made the decision. All right, end of the third. Super Bloom up 11-6 against the Astra. We'll see you for the start of the fourth.
Alti Photos is the official photographer of Winter Cup. Visit them at altiphotos.com. The Western Ultimate League is sponsored by Breakmark Apparel. They make our players and our fans look great on or off the ultimate field. Shop the full line of Western Ultimate League team gear at breakmark.com. Suju Juice is an organic, non-GMO cold-pressed juice company based in San Diego, California, and they're sponsoring the Western Ultimate League. Shout out to Suju Juice, and you can learn more about them at sujujuice.com. The Western Ultimate League and all of our member teams are stepping forward to help women and non-binary players claim their space in pro sports. Every purchase of Claim Your Space gear helps spread the word and helps us achieve that mission. Shop the limited edition collection at westernultimateleague.com/shop. Thanks to Winter Cup sponsors and the hosts of our Winter Cup Saturday Night Social, New Motion Beverages and Embolden Beer Co. Learn about their craft artisan beverages at drinknewmotion.com.
During 2002.
And we're back with the start of the fourth quarter here in San Diego. Venetia, tell me a little bit about Claim Your Space.
Absolutely. If you all have been watching any of the broadcasts, you will see folks wearing that bright teal sweatshirt or T-shirt. That is the Claim Your Space campaign. It is a campaign that has been run by the WL. You know, when you think about bringing to life a women's and non-binary professional sports model, you really have to not only decide, but you have to will that space. We have to claim it as our own. And this campaign to me means a lot because it's an opportunity to assert that we belong in this sphere. And if you like this gear, check out breakmark.com, come to the Western Ultimate League.com, and you can buy that gear for yourself as well and support us in claiming this space.
So back to the action with Astra in a zone. Backhand huck from Iwamoto. Defender in hot pursuit. That is going to go out of bounds. Good defense from Camille Wilson to ensure that that's not towed in.
If I'm not mistaken, also a UCLA alum.
Person after my own heart.
Oh, I know. Sometimes I'll give you credit. Great D to get it back. Great D.
I've been beaten down too many times by the air squids over my career.
That makes me so happy.
How dare you?
You know, it's so great. Those college rivalries, I think, will never die.
No, nor should they. Backhand to space, towed in for the Super Bloom goal. That's number 11, Avery Jones.
You know, I think they heard you on how the point differential matters. And are like, okay.
Avery Jones, 2 goals and 2 assists.
I mean, again, this is such an opportunity to watch just great athletes just perform and perform together with rosters that bring in a lot of college teams, club teams, and really get to showcase what the West Coast has to offer. And you look at players like Avery Jones, and you look at players like Alex Diaz, who you see on the screen right now, and it's an incredible show of athleticism that we're seeing, and just smart play coming from these athletes.
What do you think has made California so dominant in terms of women's college ultimate? I mean, really since the beginning of the sport.
Well, so part of it is weather. Let's be clear. The East Coast has to deal with the fact that a lot of their winter, early spring has to be done indoors. There's just the conditions do not exist to be outside, and wind is an equalizer in some ways. It's also an opportunity to distinguish yourself, and where I think teams on the West Coast get advantage of being able to play year-round with wind, I do think that has contributed to some of this.
I mentioned it yesterday. I had the good fortune to be able to witness the very beginning and the rise of blue, UCLA Blue Ultimate with all these legendary players like Anna Nazarov from the beginning, and just to see that program play so well over the years and have all these battles with these amazing Southwest teams.
And credit also, let's not forget that was incredible coaching that created that program.
Alex Korb.
Yeah, and that's
Jamie
also
Newer.
Yeah, and that's a huge credit also. You think about Stanford's reign,
Forehand flick huck from Amy Halverson.
Oh, just hung. That adage, catch your D's, always comes back to bite people.
Christina Dubowski gets a hand on it. Maggie O'Connor pulls it in. It's going to go back, however. Stall was called.
That's 7 seconds, right? It comes at you so fast, and players have to get these discs off early. So it's a contested stall.
It was actually before the huck.
And a contested stall is going to come back at stall 5 again. This is stall of 7, assuming it's upheld. Or not confirmed, I suppose, because the stall is being challenged.
We're just saying 5. There's going to be a 4-second pre-stall. 4-second pre-stall, and then we're live. Saying 5!
That's saying with Ellis on the mark.
How is that not a stall?
Oh, and Helton with her probably 27th D of the game.
Not quite. Again, quick movement.
Rebecca Ellis finds a wide open receiver for the goal, and that's 13-6.
Really piling it on. I can understand Astra being really frustrated right now, but I have to say, watching San Diego play so well is also really inspiring.
As you see the replay, stall count getting high. Helton gets the run through D.
It's an unfortunate thing, right? This is where the pre-stall is really helpful. If we can strategically figure out how to position yourself during that pre-stall movement, you're not going to find yourself having to hold the disc and wait. And unfortunately, for the Astra team in that instance, the positioning just wasn't there, and with 2 seconds to go, you just got to get rid of that disc.
Rebecca Ellis, a name we've called a bunch today, with her 3rd assist.
Maggie O'Connor's favorite workout is a burpee mile. That does not sound fun, but...
And you see Maggie O'Connor repeating the burpee mile.
The burpee mile. Must have hurt us.
Well, actually, it seems like the announcer in the stadium is
did they just say
offering
that?
some fun facts right now.
All right. So is that actually you do burpees for a mile? You like go around a track doing burpees?
I think it's you do burpees and then have to run like a quarter mile and then do more burpees. Either way, it sounds very unpleasant.
It's like 2 of the things I hate the most,
Agreed.
running and burpees.
Yeah. It's so funny, I grew up as a runner and I hated it. But I will run for, Frisbee.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like, we for sure fouled me, but I think it's still a turn. Okay.
Okay, so there is a foul, but it's after the turn, so it's still a turn.
And we see the observers, again, mic'd up, so you are getting to hear them, talk to the players. It's helping, ideally, the players sort of work through calls quickly.
The wheels coming off a bit for Astra now. Super Bloom really pouring it on.
I'm still trying to get a D if I'm Astra.
right in the corner. It looked like a travel, but won't be called. And Ellis gets her 4th assist of the game to Helton.
Again, you see, even if you're down this much, Halverson's making a play, still making the bid. You know, there's a point where you're also still playing for pride, and you're playing recognizing that you are showcasing women's ultimate, and you got to ball out, no matter the score.
Fans are loving it. You can see a packed crowd this evening. Sun's starting to get lower in the sky. It's beautiful out here.
Yeah, really is sort of a home game for everyone. You know, we are here in San Diego. LA is only really, well, without traffic, LA is an hour away. So a lot of folks coming.
Can we come up with some kind of nickname for this rivalry, like in Major League Soccer, LAFC and LA Galaxy? It's El Tráfico, is the name for that. We need a rival, something about the 405 maybe. You know, between San Diego and LA, because this is a rivalry that's not going to go away.
Oh no, absolutely not. I mean, and again, you know, if you think about where these players are coming from, a lot of them cross over. So certainly, I imagine they're enjoying playing against each other, and we'll be talking about who got the better of the other. And while today is one day, we'll be back in 2022, y'all.
And do we have a final schedule yet for the next season?
It will be coming out likely in January. Great grab by O'Connor.
We'll be looking forward to that.
Yeah, there's some open looks that Astra is missing.
And so the question is, for future seasons, are there plans to have another cup like this, or will it be essentially a regular season playoff format?
You know, that's what's so fun about getting to do this just unfortunate turnover there. You know, the Winter Cup was primarily an opportunity for folks to really learn about the WL. You know, we've been very quiet because of COVID. And we've had these rosters intact, and we wanted to, celebrate these rosters. Again, 5 of the 6 teams are with original or 2020 rosters who just didn't get a lot of chances to play together due to COVID. And like I said, we wanted to give a chance not only for the players but for the fans to see, hey, there's a new game in town. And it's called the WL.
We've got an injury on Pajunas, possibly a pulled calf. Able to run off the field. That's a good sign.
It's a trot. And again, with an injury, that is a stoppage in the clock. So you're seeing that the clock is stopped here, even though it's not inside the 2 minutes. And again, the last 2 minutes, clock stops for calls, clock stops for in and out of bounds. But otherwise, the clock during the first 8 minutes of the game generally continues, absent things like injury calls and, of course, between pulls.
Iwamoto finds Jones. Jones will find Helton. Helton with a wide open Dubowski.
Just very good use of space.
Oh, that's a cheeky lefty flick. Sorry,
that
lefty
high
backhand.
Release, that high release again. There it is.
Pouring it on our Super Bloom. 3:33 left in this one, and we have an 8-point margin. Now we have a 9-point margin, 15-6. So that'll about lock up the goal differential on the day and secure those 4 points.
Definitely, and of course now seeing how that'll factor in to the remaining of the scoring categories for declaring a Winter Cup winner. We're going to have to see how that plays out, but you're absolutely right. At this point, I think it is fair to say, given the time constraints that we have with 3:33 left on the clock, Super Bloom will have the win in hand, but will they have the cup?
Well, our crack stats and social media team is here with us in the booth, crunching the numbers as we speak, feeding us live information. Manisha taking a look. at who's in the lead.
And if you are on Twitter right now, you would have seen that the Instagram contest was just officially called with Seattle Tempest just beating out Super Bloom, who had led the whole weekend. That puts Tempest up another 15 points. Super Bloom currently sitting at 22, ideally with another 15 coming because of this win.
All right. Big thanks to our team here for that information. Going to come down to the wire. Lee just too far out in front of her receiver.
Unfortunate turnover for LA, and again, if I'm LA, even if it's the last 3 minutes, I'm gonna be grinding on defense right now, trying to get my stops. We certainly hope you folks have enjoyed watching these games. Obviously, special thanks to UltiWorld to making these games happen. UltiPhotos, who've been crushing it with highlights. And of course, the athletes themselves.
Yeah, and if you haven't already, be sure to go online, pick up some gear. All these jersey proceeds go directly to the teams. It'll really help with compensating these players for their time and their skill. And here comes Ellie Melech the other way, looking for
space.
Pritchard. Oh no, and lets it go, thinking O'Connor has it.
It's just a miscue, right? I mean, folks have not had a chance to get a lot of reps together. You know, these teams are really coming back after an 18-month hiatus. And while it's just unfortunate, but it's why it's even to be more excited. Great attempt right there.
Backhand huck the other way for Jarman.
Again.
And it's Deed by
This
Lee.
is what you want from Astra. You want bids. You want to stay close. You want to challenge throws. There's no reason why you still can't play defense.
And Lee again with the turnover. That's going to go straight to Super Bloom and another goal for them.
It's unfortunate for Astra, right? Because once you get the disc, then you have to slow it down. But Christy Jarman there with the score. And now at this point, a minute 26 left in this game, a minute 26 left in this tournament. And it's been such a fun ride, I have to say. I hope folks have enjoyed it. I hope that they've liked not only the rule sets, but of course just getting to see these athletes in action with such high quality coverage coming from both UltiWorld and UltiPhotos. Just saw a replay of that last point. And we can see that the staff on the right trying to figure out the fantasy right now.
So did you submit a fantasy team?
I'm not allowed to. I'm on the board. Come on.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, come on.
I
wouldn't tell anybody on this live broadcast.
I think the rest of the board would have said something.
All right, we got Katie Punky Killebrew, who was doing some great commentary earlier in the day.
It's so great to see how many hats people wear. I mean, it's so much fun.
Yeah, everybody chipping in.
Stay in bounds. Oh. All right, again, now if I'm Super Bloom, I am trying to understand clock management at this point. Our clock is moving.
And 30 seconds left. Iwamoto finds Diaz. Diaz has a player streaking, puts it to her.
Short.
Over the head of Killebrew to Avery Jones. Jones back to Iwamoto.
10 seconds.
Iwamoto looking for help and throws a gorgeous backhand to the end zone and the score for Super Bloom.
I see our clock corrected itself. It was going when it should not have. We should have some time left on this clock, giving LA Astra potentially a chance to end this game with a score.
I see the replay. going to be a sick backhand from Iwamoto.
Such a nice angle on that IO.
Finds Ellis through the bidding defender.
And Annie O with that bid. Again, even with the score what it is, you're still seeing Astra putting it all on the turf, literally on the turf. Half their skin is down there right now.
So I have to ask you that because I asked the same question yesterday. Pellets or sand, which is more annoying?
Pellets are more annoying.
Okay.
I mean, sand is annoying. I think a lot of the athletes had to, it's been a minute. There are mechanisms to protect your skin on surfaces like this. This has been a particularly unforgiving surface. You can see it with the players. A lot of them have their bandaged up elbows and skinned knees, but hey, they're putting it out on the turf. So this will be our final point of this tournament. The scoreboard hitting 0-0. And Astra, credit them, still wanting to stay in the game. Unfortunately, a turnover that will end our game.
Iwamoto with the lockdown defense on Lee will bring this one to a close. With
What
Super Bloom bringing it home for the fans with an 11-point margin of victory, 17-6 over their rivals, Los Angeles Astra.
Quite a statement from San Diego. Again, let's recognize that from yesterday's fantasy submissions, no one predicted the 3 winners other than 3 people. And San Diego demonstrating that they are a roster to be paying attention to. It'll be great to see who comes back in 2022. And of course, to see these rosters compete again in early 2022 when the season comes back. And y'all, if you've enjoyed this, if you've enjoyed watching this, watching these athletes, consider supporting the WL. We are excited to have you engage with these fans, with these players. The players are excited to engage with the fans, and we hope people have enjoyed the Winter Cup, have had a blast just in, cheering along from whether you were here in the stands or back at home. We know we have people watching from every time zone right now. And we really appreciate you being here. We appreciate you supporting the WL. We appreciate the fact that we had just some excellent ultimate this weekend.
Here we see the play of the game coming up. It's going to be Kristen Pajunas.
Oh, it was the one that didn't, the IO. Yep.
That's right.
Again.
IO backhand from Zettner. Pajunas with the layout grab in the end zone in front of Eli Melech for the score, which did end up going back, but still beautiful nonetheless.
Still a great play, y'all. Still a great play. Credit to some great athletic play coming from Pajunas. I appreciate also watching that these athletes are celebrating each other after the games. You see a lot of hugs, a lot of high fives. Many of these athletes know each other. You see San Diego calling and celebrating their hometown fans. You can hear it hopefully in the broadcast. Folks showed up. They understood this was a chance to watch the San Diego Super Bloom at home. And I hope that they enjoyed the show. And like I said, I hope everyone who watched these 6 games had a blast, because I did. I definitely did.
Yes, fantastic weekend. And in just a moment, we are going to pull up the final standings.
I feel like a drum roll is needed.
You insight into who the winners will be. As we see San Diego fans applauding their Super Bloom.
Also,
all
their jerseys
smiles.
are fun.
They really are. If you're still here at the stadium, get some merch at home. Go online. Pick up some socks, pick up a neck gaiter, a disc,
I think I got an insider. Should I leak it? Should I leak the insider knowledge? I just had someone lean into my ear.
Now it depends. Let's see if is this going to come up on screen. I don't know. We might have to get a leak.
Do we need to do the leak? I think we have to do it, y'all. Super Bloom has won the Winter Cup with a commanding win at the end of this game. They are leapfrogging Utah Wild to win the Cup. What an incredible performance by Super Bloom. Such a complete performance by Super Bloom. Let's be clear, right? They had the fan engagement, they had the fantasy, and of course, 2 statement wins at this event. Incredible.
Really a dominating performance from them. And with Kristen Pajunas on the sideline now is our sideline reporter, Megan Praz.
Thanks, Jeremy and Slap. I'm Megan Praz, she, her, and I am here with Kristen Pajunas of San Diego Superbloom. Kristen, you grew up in San Diego, you went to college at UCLA, you have played club in Southern California for years. How does it feel to finally play pro women's ultimate in Southern California?
It was amazing, and I want to thank all the women and men that put so much time and effort into this and held down the fort during 2020 and the continuing pandemic. It was such a privilege to be out here to play, and like with these amazing teammates against these amazing opponents. I really want to thank all the organizers and the time and effort that went into it.
All right. Well, there were a lot of great matchups today, including against some of your former teammates. One in particular I want to talk about was your D on Dina Elimelech, and also that layout catch, but there was a travel, we don't have to talk about that. But it was a beautiful catch. So are you Chrome's kryptonite?
I don't think she has a kryptonite, but I mean, she's just someone that inspires you to play your best, right? It's like posterize or be posterized, and it was like, if I don't get this D, I'm gonna make it on ESPN top 10, but like getting embarrassed by Dina. So she really pushed me to play my heart out, and I love the way she like raises the level of the game of both her teammates and her opponents.
Yes, really, really exciting matchup to watch out there. There were a lot of phenomenal performances out there by you and your teammates. Are there any teammates in particular that you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I want to shout out some of the names that you probably haven't heard before. Blair, she I think is wearing number 81. She has been a local San Diego player that is coming back after 2 ACL tears and just roaring fast. I want to shout out her. I want to shout out Christina. She had a bunch of amazing goals. So there's some local women that I don't think have become household names on the national level that really got an opportunity to shine and had some amazing plays for us. And I was just so excited for them to like have their moment.
All right. Well, we'll be on the lookout for those players for the rest of the season. So we have the 2022 season coming up. What are your expectations after this amazing start to the WL for the 2022 season?
I hope you all had just as good of a time watching all these games as I did. I think the level is really high, and I love that Utah and San Diego made some big names for themselves against some ultimate stalwarts. So definitely keep your eyes peeled. And if you didn't try out for the 2020 season, please get on Twitter, find your 2022 sign-up sheet, and just like get out there for tryouts and show us what you've got.
Are there any final thoughts? Anything else that you want to say to the fans, to the people on the live stream, to your hometown of San Diego?
Thank you for watching and for supporting, and like anyone that tweeted, watched, gave money, like organized, thank you from the bottom of my heart, and from my teammates, we appreciate you a lot.
All right, we're going to leave it at that. Congratulations, Kristen. You most likely have won the Winter Cup, even though I don't have the official point total. So congratulations to you and Superbloom, and we will take it back up to the booth. Thank you.
Yep. Sure.
All right. Thank you, Megan, and thank you, Kristen. So, Venetia, wonderful weekend of games. Just wanted to see if you wanted to shout out the sponsors that helped make this happen today.
Absolutely. There is no way that this event would not have happened without the support of Ulti World and Ulti Photos, and of course Breakmark, Discraft. You can see the gear that we're wearing is Breakmark. Obviously our discs are Discraft. Of course New Motion Brewing, who hosted last night's event. Great shout out to them, and of course to our other sponsor, Suja Juice, who provided beverages for our players throughout the weekend, and of course for the staff and volunteers as well. And if you want to be a sponsor for the WL, you should reach out to us, because this is an exciting time to be involved in Women's Pro Ultimate, and I think at this point we want to be able to have you also be a part of this organization as well. And I'm just so proud and blessed to be a part of this organization. It's been really fun to see just 2 years of work come to life finally.
Yeah, so Venetia, as you mentioned, 2 years of work to get to this point. I mean, just
Hi, y'all. This is us in the booth.
Yep. Hello to everyone at home. Tell us a little bit about just what it took to get here. When did you start this process, and what was the journey like along the way?
It was funny. I got to say this in my earlier interview. Really, this, at least for me and for many of the organizers who are here today, it really started with a bunch of meetings in mid to late 2019. And 7 teams really at the time came together and said, you know what? We want to bring Pro Ultimate to the West Coast, and we made a commitment to make that happen. Again, no one could have predicted a pandemic coming. And after that, it was a lot of waiting. I mean, with the pandemic, especially given the way it progressed and the rollout of things, we really had to find a time where it felt appropriate to bring folks together. I hope folks know that we spent a lot of time also thinking about protocols in place. Everyone here has to be vaccinated. We also required a PCR test of all of our participants, staff, coaches, prior to this event. It's not a perfect system by any means, but I think it did a lot to assure, or at least acknowledge that we are still in the middle of a pandemic. These are things that we have to continue to consider. But it has been so much fun to really, I said this earlier, see this come to life. You dream it, you build it, and then to actually see it come to fruition, I think is something completely different. And credit to the board of directors, credit to our commissioner, Felicia Yang, who have just been tirelessly working behind the scenes. And of course, credit to the individual teams who maintain their brands, who maintain their fan bases, maintain their rosters, and kept their teams engaged to come out and, again, showcase what this league can do. And I'm so excited to see what comes in 2022.
And speaking of 2022, tell the fans who are watching at home, what can we expect from the 2022 season? What should they be looking forward to?
Oh, God, incredible highlights. Incredible highlights. I mean, I'm so excited that I hope SportsCenter picks up at least a couple of these things, because there have been, this entire weekend was chock full of highlights. You're just seeing some of them from the last game right now, but the entire weekend was just play after play after play. Some lucky like that, some just incredible athleticism from just great athletes. And as Krista Pajuna said, some athletes you've never met before and hopefully you'll start learning about. Thank you so much for being here, y'all. I'm closing this out because, hey, it's the WL and we've had a weekend, y'all. This has been incredible. Thank you to our volunteers, to our fans. Come back in 2022.